Since we're talking about definitions, my wheels are turning now. They're spinning because you contrasted willingness to engage with compliance. So then, what is the definition of compliance? And is that compliance with the teacher? Is it also compliance in a group setting with other students as well?
Yeah, so compliance is this idea that you do what you know you're supposed to do because you're supposed to do it. And I, I'm not sure that's always about. Yeah, maybe I'm slightly naive about it. Sometimes I think compliance is all I'm going to get. I'll go with that. That's fine. Compliance is just fine for now. So I think there is this idea that for sustained learning over time, compliance is not going to lead to deep long-term learning in the same way that if it's an authentic engagement that you're going to do that. But compliance might be the best you're going to get at some moment in time. Also, I think we did some research on fake engagement.
Oh.
So this was a deeply humbling experience, let me tell you, because it was with my learners. So this is talk about deeply humbling. So we researched with our learners when they basically faked it, when they pretended in class that they were engaged, but actually they were not. And what were they doing and why were
No
they doing it?
way.
It was fascinating. It was ridiculously fascinating. It was mildly depressing as well, but it was fascinating. So, of course, all learners do it. And there's not one single person listening to this podcast who hasn't been at a talk and been sat there going, and
Oh
their
yeah.
mind is completely
Yeah.
somewhere else. And we've
Yeah.
all done it. So the reason this resonates is everybody hears it and goes, oh, yeah, I've done that. So the learners were very frank about the fact that, yeah, sometimes they nodded and then they would ask an occasional question because they were pretending to be interested. And they faked it, and they faked it very deliberately. But for me, perhaps the most interesting part of this is they faked it because they had respect for the teacher.
Mm.
If they didn't care about the teacher, if the teacher had, irritated them, they didn't even bother to fake it because they didn't care enough about their relationship to the teacher to hide it.
Huh.
Now, that could be culture specific in the Austria, if they don't care, if they don't like you, they don't like you, and they're going to show you that they don't like you. So that could be very culturally specific. I'm sure in some cultures, politeness markers will be way higher than they are here, so that would kick in. But it was interesting to understand that the motivations behind faking engagement are sometimes because they don't want to be disrespectful, but they acknowledge themselves that at that moment in time, they can't engage. They are somewhere else for whatever reason. And very often it was they had other stuff going on. And so the best they could do was just try and keep track of stuff that was going on, and they faked their engagement. And so that's like beyond compliance. That's not even compliance. We're not even at compliance at that stage. And you know what? That's life, and that's going to happen. And I don't know a single teacher who that won't have happened to, possibly every single day. And I don't know a single person. Yeah, Leo's doing it to me now. So
No, I'm just thinking about this whole fake engagement, and there's so much
Oh
I
my
want to
gosh.
ask and explore.
Even
Yeah.
in the class, right? I mean, let's be honest, like as teachers, like students are making a presentation or whatever, and some of them are awesome and some of them are less than awesome. And you're doing the head bob and oh yeah, great, good stuff. Very good. Like of course, I think that's really interesting. We all do it, right?
I didn't know it was a thing. Fake engagement. That's great. But again, fake engagement, real engagement, compliance. As long as they're doing the work, that's all that matters.